Trees blown over, tens of thousands without power, and too many fires to count. The National Weather Service says it hasn't been this bad in at least a decade.
And the wind created this dramatic and devastating scene in Castle Rock.
Was your heart racing?
Oh, yes. My adrenaline's still pumping.
2 homes destroyed, many more damaged. Tonight, firefighters admit they were stretched too thin to protect these properties.
The bad part was it took the fire department so long to get here.
Denver 7 starts right now.
And we start with a look at some of the damage from this wild weather day as your photos and videos stream in. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Ann Trujillo.
And I'm Jacqueline Allen. Downed trees and power lines have knocked out electricity to more than 40,000 people from Centennial north to Fort Collins and just about every community in between.
Wind gusts are topping out around 80 miles an hour in the foothills and were even powerful enough to rip off part of the roof of a building at the Denver Center for the Performing Arts.
And that's where Denver 7's Ryan Luby is live now. Hey, Ryan.
Hey there, guys. Yeah, take a look at this. You can see this hunk of metal sitting on top of this pickup truck. This is at 14th and Champa, and we can actually still hear some of the roofing material from atop of the Performing Arts Center banging around. And the concern is from police officers here is that roofing material may come tearing down and either hit cars or hit people. So they're trying to be very careful about letting people pass through here. But you can definitely tell that they have the roads shut down and will probably for some time. We noticed some Denver firefighters just go into the building a few minutes ago. I'm assuming that they're going to try to get up to the roof to assess just how much damage we could be talking about, but it's unclear where this hunk of metal came from, whether it was from the higher part of the roof or not, but certainly the winds down here downtown today have been incredibly strong. Obviously, with the buildings so close to each other, the wind can get amplified, which certainly may have contributed to this damage in part. But if you know anyone who's going to be driving through this area near 14th and Champa, give them a call. Let them know that traffic through here is going to be terrible for some time. Back to you all.
And dangerous. All right, Ryan, thank you. Look at the traffic map. You can see alerts for road closures and restrictions spreading across the Front Range at this hour. The wind has reduced visibility at times to 0, and CDOT has restricted high-profile vehicles across northern Colorado because so many semis have blown over. The wind also has RTD trains delayed. That impacts the A line to and from the airport, the W line to Golden, and the R line to Arvada. And DIA just put out its alert saying anyone with travel plans should check their flight status before heading out to the airport. The winds have propelled us to the top of FlightAware's misery map with 75 delays and 7 cancellations just in the past 4 hours.
What a mess. Let's get over to Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson, who is tracking these havoc-wreaking gusts. And the outlook tonight, Mike?
It's a crazy wind out there right now. It's going to get better, though, in the next couple of hours. Look at some of the gusts. We have 89 miles an hour at Louisville, 86 at Broomfield, and 83 at Rocky Flats. That is incredible straight-line winds this afternoon. And the winds currently are still roaring. 48 miles an hour at Greeley and Fort Collins, 58 at Broomfield at the present time. We've had some blizzard conditions up in the mountains with some falling snow. This is what it looks like from our camera in Westminster looking toward the northwest. Those winds coming down off the mountains, partially strong because of a very strong jet stream aloft that's helping add some momentum. High wind warning until 9 o'clock tonight. Fire weather warning until 8 o'clock tonight. There's the cold front pushing across the state. And look at the temperature contrast. It's 91 in Dodge City, 23 degrees up in Leadville, 53 in Denver. Very windy early tonight, much better after 9 o'clock. There is a soggy storm that'll ease the fire danger on the way by Friday.
All right, thanks, Mike. And this map shows the wildfires burning across our state right now. At last count, it shows 6 active fires, and the worst is burning down south between Colorado Springs and Pueblo. That fire is so hot, weather satellites in space are able to detect it. Wow. And firefighters there have evacuated several homes. And the U.S. Forest Service has taken over command of an 11-acre wildfire in southwestern Douglas County.
The Indian Creek fire had several communities along Highway 67 and Rampart Range Road ready to evacuate this afternoon, and we have confirmed the weather may have both started and spread this one. Investigators believe downed power lines sparked it. Denver 7's Lance Hernandez was out there talking to neighbors.
Law enforcement is limiting access to the area to people who live in the area and to fire crews who need to get to the flames. There were some tense moments when smoke started billowing from the horizon. Adam Gale took off on his four-wheeler to notify neighbors.
There's a lot of elderly that live in the tail ends of these roads around here, so we were just making everybody aware of how close the fire was.
Some didn't know there was a fire, but they most certainly were aware of the wind. and the tinder dry conditions.
Wanted to get up here and see if I could get to the house. We got a couple animals there and everything we own, so a little nervous.
Fire crews from several departments joined West Douglas County on the ground, while a contract chopper with a bucket battled the blaze from the air.
They've been out there all day.
Marjorie Knuckles is grateful that fire crews were able to keep the blaze from exploding. Grateful she and her husband still have a place to sleep tonight.
I'm feeling better, but we'll be ready. We'll be ready to leave anytime.
Lance Hernandez, Denver 7.
And we do not want to underestimate the fire danger not only in our state but across our region. The National Weather Service says we have not seen conditions like this in at least a decade. 2 massive fires in neighboring Oklahoma have burned more than 300,000 acres and destroyed more than 60 homes. At least 2 people have been killed.
And now to that dramatic scene in Castle Rock as strong wind gusts carry flames from house to house, almost like dominoes. We are covering the destruction from multiple angles tonight.
And that includes this series of questions about firefighting resources as we go into what is expected to be a dangerous fire season. Mark Stewart begins our team coverage tonight where the fire sparked this morning off Foxtail Drive in northwest Castle Rock. Mark?
And Ann, here in Castle Rock, even as we come on at 5 o'clock, we are feeling that wind. Let me walk through exactly what happened. First, a fire breaking out at this home, the wind quickly spreading it next door and then behind and to the sides. We have gotten some updated information now. At least 5 homes damaged, 2 are completely destroyed. There are some serious questions tonight about the cause as well as response time.
A firestorm on Foxtail Drive in Castle Rock. The wind so intense, you can see it pushing the flames and the smoke down the street.
I was working. I work from home. I was on a call and I heard a lot of screeching noises.
Sandy Brantley lives just steps away from where the disaster erupted.
And I thought it was a street cleaner coming up and then some loud, pops.
There was so much concern the fire would get even worse. Homeowners quickly helped each other.
My neighbor over there was knocking on windows, trying to make sure nobody was home.
Was your heart racing? Oh, yes. My adrenaline's still pumping. And now talking about it even more has got me going up again.
Strong winds across the Front Range helping to fuel this inferno that in a matter of mere minutes quickly destroyed 2 homes and significantly damaged 3 others.
What's the wind like today? It's been pretty gusty all day.
There are also serious questions about response time. Castle Rock Fire acknowledging crews were in short supply, already battling a wildfire nearby, delaying teams to get here.
The bad part was it took the fire department so long to get here.
Fire crews keeping an eye on hot spots.
I'm just very worried about my neighbors.
As the people who live here focus on their neighbors in need.
I feel horrible for them. I just don't know how they're going to react.
Were you scared? All afternoon long, we have seen fire investigators going into the wreckage trying to find a cause. Some fencing has been put up to keep people away. Despite this damage, despite this horrific scene, fortunately, no one was hurt. We are live in Castle Rock tonight. Mark Stewart, Denver 7.
Oh, so fortunate. Thank you, Mark. And you heard neighbors say it. It took a while for firefighters to arrive. Well, Castle Rock says as that fire started, they were already working at least 2 other major calls. Denver 7 Sally Mamdou has that side of the story tonight.
The Castle Rock fire chief tells me today's house fire was their worst case scenario because firefighters were already out dealing with a gas leak and fighting this grass fire here that was quickly spreading on Toma Road. It took fire crews 15 minutes to respond to the homes burning in Castle Rock, and that's because there were no fire units available to respond. When firefighters initially arrived, they had to wait on fire equipment to get to the scene, and while waiting, they used garden hose to protect other nearby houses. Castle Rock fire chief says they aren't equipped to handle that many fires back to back.
On a normal day, we have enough, and most departments have enough resources to handle 1 house fire at a time.
Firefighters plan to be on high alert due to the high winds. As we've seen in today's fire, high winds could cause significant damage. In Castle Rock, Sally Mamdou, Denver 7.